Hi everyone, today we are talking about how you divide radicals. Your first word is dividing radicals. You have the nth root of a divided by b. You can break that up so you have a square root on the top and on the bottom, or in this case, I guess an nth root. So you can rewrite this as the nth root of a divided by the nth root of b. In my example, we have the square root of 8 over 9. Again, we can do the square root of 8 over the square root of 9. 9 is a nice perfect square, so we can rewrite that as 3, the square root of 9. For 8, if you look at your list of perfect squares, you have 4, 9, 16. It keeps going on and on and on. I can divide 8 by 4, so we can rewrite this as the square root of 4 times the square root of 2, again because 8 is 2 times 4, or 4 times 2. The square root of 4 would give me 2, so we'd have 2 root 2 over 3 as our final answer for that one. Your next word is rationalizing the denominator. It's moving a radical from the bottom of a fraction to the top. And we rationalize the denominator by multiplying by the conjugate. Your last word is conjugate. To write the conjugate, you change the sign between two terms. So if it was a plus, it's become a minus. If it was a minus, it'll become a plus. And we're going to do an example of those in the next slide. All right, for each of the statements below, we need to identify the conjugate of each expression. We have 2 minus the square root of 2. Remember, for the conjugate, you're just changing the sign in between the two terms. So my conjugate is going to be 2 plus the square root of 2. Everything else stays the same. For my second one, we have negative 4 plus the cube root of 6. Again, we just want to change that sign in the middle. So we would do negative 4 minus the cube root of 6 as our conjugate. And that's all you do in terms of identifying your conjugate. Just change the sign. We are going to rewrite each expression below without a radical in the denominator. To do that, we are going to multiply our term by that radical that's in the bottom, specifically for this one where you just have one simple square root on the bottom. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 2. When I do that, 4x is just going to stay out front. We have 4x root 2. And then remember, if we do the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, you can move those 2's together so they're all underneath the square root. When I do 2 times 2, I get 4. So we have 4x root 2 divided by the square root of 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. So we have 4x square root of 2 over, 2. Now, we talked about this yesterday, but if you do a square root times itself, you're just going to be left with whatever's underneath your square root. So if you see this happening, and you can jump all the way to knowing you just have 2 on the bottom, I'm totally fine with that. You don't need to show your work in between. Again, I'm showing it so you can see how I got there. Now, this is great. This gets rid of our square root in the bottom, which is what we want. But I also notice I can simplify it a little bit more. Notice you have 4 divided by 2 here. When I do 4 divided by 2, I just get 2. So technically, this whole thing is the same as 2x root 2. And that would be your final answer in the most simplified form. All right, I do want to talk about one example just on the off chance you have one like this on your homework that isn't on here. So let's call this C part 2. If you have the square root of 8 divided by the square root of 12, you're going to do the same thing, multiply the top and the bottom by that square that is originally on the bottom, square root. So we're going to multiply by square root of 12, square root of 12. Again, on top, you'd have the square root of 8 times 12. On the bottom, remember, if you multiply a square root by itself, you're just going to be left with your number underneath. So you're just left with 12. Let me grab a calculator because my 12s are not all in my brain. If I do 8 times 12, I get 96. So you have the square root of 96 divided by 12. And you are looking for a perfect square that goes into 96. I believe that's 16. I can rewrite 96 as a square root of 16 times 6. Again, all of that is divided by 12. Again, I can break this down, so I'm taking the square root of 16, square root of 6, all divided by 12. Let me erase my arrow because it doesn't even point to what I just did. Again, the square root of 16 will give you 4. You'd have 4 root 6 divided by 12. And then your last step is just to simplify those numbers out front. To be honest, because I'm not there and I'm not going to be crazy about it, I would take 4 over 12 as your answer. But if I simplify it, I can divide the top by 4. I can divide the bottom by 4. I get the square root of 6 divided by 3 as your final answer. Again, there isn't a perfect square I can divide 6 by, so I know I'm done in terms of simplifying my square root. All right, for D, you have 1 divided by 2x plus 5. If you have two terms in the bottom, so 2 plus a root, 2 minus a root, you just have like two things on the bottom. This is when you have to multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate. Again, for this one, the conjugate means you change the sign in between. For this one, we have a positive in between. So for my conjugate, we're just going to be doing 2 minus root 5. So we're going to multiply the top by 2 minus root 5. We're going to multiply the bottom by 2 minus root 5. On top, you're just distributing that 1. So 1 times 2 gives me 2. 1 times negative root 5 gives me negative root 5. For the bottom, notice you have a binomial times a binomial. So just like we've done all year, we are going to set up the box method. And you should have done this yesterday with your multiplying. So we have 2x plus root 5 times 2 minus root 5. Again, in my first box, we're doing 2 times 2. That gives me 4. If I do 2 times root 5, I get 2 root 5. Negative root 5 times 2 gives me negative 2 root 5. Excuse me. And then my last one is a positive times a negative is a negative. Root 5 times root 5 will just be 5. Notice these two have like radicals. They both have root 5, so we can combine them. You have a positive 2 minus 2, which means these ones are actually going to cancel each other out. And on the bottom, you're just left with 4 minus 5. If I simplify that a bit more, we would have 2 negative root 5, and then 4 minus 5 would give me a negative 1. Again, you could leave your answer like this on a test or quiz. I would be fine with it. Technically, you can divide each of those terms by negative 1. If I do 2 divided by negative 1, I get negative 2. And remember, there's a negative 1 out front. So if I do negative 1 divided by negative 1, I get a positive 1. So you'd have positive root 5. Again, these two say the same thing. The bottom one is simplified. The top just isn't. And I would be happy with either of those on a test. E, you're doing the same thing. Negative 4x divided by 1 minus the square root of x. Again, we have two terms, so we need to multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate. In this case, my conjugate is going to be 1 plus the square root of x. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by that. Again, for that negative 4x, we're going to take that and distribute that to each term. So negative 4x times 1 gives me a negative 4x. Remember, there's a sneaky little 1 in front of my radical. So negative 4x times that one is also negative 4x, but then you have the square root of x behind it as well. And that looks a little goofy, but you can't combine them. You just leave it just like that. For my denominator, we are going to have to do the box method again because I have a binomial times a binomial. So we're doing 1 minus the square root of x times 1 plus the square root of x. Again, in that first box, I'm doing 1 times 1, which gives me a 1. 1 times negative root x, which is just negative root x. If I do 1 times a positive root x, you get a positive root x. And then my square root of x times the square root of x. Again, the square roots cancel each other out. But you had a positive times a negative, so it's a negative. And then you just have x left over, whatever was underneath your square root. Just like our last one, these two terms are going to cancel each other out, which is should always be happening if you're multiplying by the conjugate. And we're left with 1 minus x on the denominator. I don't need you to simplify any further than this. There's nothing else you can really do. So this would be your final answer. All right, my last one. We have 5 minus square root of 2 divided by 2 square root 3. Again, you need to multiply by the conjugate of the bottom. So my bottom is 2 minus root 3, so we're going to multiply the top by 2 plus root 3 and the bottom by 2 plus root 3. Now the bad news here is that both the top and the bottom are binomials, so we are going to have to do the box method twice. I'm going to do it in blue for the top. For the top of our fraction, we're doing 5 minus root 2 times 2 plus root 3. Again, in my first box, we have 2 times 5, which gives me 10. 2 times negative root 2, which is negative 2 root 2. 5 times root 3, so 5 root 3. And then my last one, negative square root of 2 times the square root of 3. Again, you can multiply your numbers underneath. That'll give you the square root of 6. And now notice nothing has a common radical for me. They don't have radicals. You have the square root of 2, the square root of 3, the square root of 6. So my final answer on top is going to be so messy, but it's 10 minus 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3 minus the square root of 6. Now you could have written those terms in any order. It doesn't matter. I kind of like having my 1 without the square root first, and then each of my roots go up as you go along, but I can't combine anything. I can't do anything to make them combine. So the top is as simplified as it's going to be. For my denominator, we're going to do the box method again. This time I'll do it in green. We have 2 minus root 3 and 2 plus root 3. Again, for the top, I do 2 times 2 will give me 4. 2 times negative root 3 is a negative 2 root 3. 2 times a positive root 3 is a positive 2 root 3. And then the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 gives me a 3. But again, you had a negative times a positive, so it's negative 3. The good news here is that 2 root 3 and negative 2 root 3 cancel each other out. So really, on the bottom, you're just left with 4 minus 3. And if I do 4 minus 3, I get 1. So technically, you have that whole thing divided by 1. Again, anything divided by 1 is itself. So my answer is just going to be whatever's left over on top. So we have 10 minus 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3. Oh my gosh, can I fit it in? Minus the square root of 6. And this would be your final answer. Again, I'm not going to have a denominator because technically this bottom part is equal to 1. So if you left it divided by 1 down there, that's fine too, but you definitely don't have to. All right, that is all I have for you today. Please give your homework a try. It's 9 problems. If you have questions, you need help, feel free to send me an email or a Schoology message. As always, thank you for watching, and we will talk to you later.